Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and knowing that the very first hour of your day will determine everything. Your energy, your focus, your results, your happiness. What if I told you that one decision, one ritual, one moment of intentional action before the world even hits you can change the trajectory of your life? Most people wake up and react. They scroll, they rush, they surrender their power. But what I'm about to share with you will give you control, clarity, and unstoppable momentum. Today, you're going to learn how to own your mornings and own your destiny. When you open your eyes in the morning, you're not just waking up, you're stepping into the most important crossroads of your entire day. That first minute, that first breath, that first thought, they're not random. They're signals, they're instructions, they're shaping the way your mind will interpret everything that happens next. Most people don't realize this. They wake up and immediately step into chaos, reacting, rushing, surviving. But the people who create extraordinary lives understand something powerful. Your morning is your mindset factory. It's where you build the emotional and mental state that will either carry you or crush you. When you roll out of bed and the first thing you do is check your phone, you're not checking messages, you're checking out of your life. You're handing your power to the world before you've claimed it for yourself. And what happens? You start reacting. Someone's opinion, someone's urgency, someone's negativity, some news headline, it hijacks your state. And once your state is hijacked, your day becomes a fight to get back what you never claimed in the first place. But imagine waking up differently. Imagine waking up with intention. Before anything else, you take ownership of your mind. You decide what thoughts get in, what energy takes root, what emotions you're going to amplify. That's where the shift begins. That's where your life starts to change, because your morning isn't about routine. It's about identity. It's about reminding yourself who you are before the world tells you who to be. That moment between sleep and action is sacred. Your mind is open, your emotions are vulnerable, your decisions are pure, and in that space you get to create the emotional tone that carries you through the entire day. If you choose stress, everything becomes heavier. If you choose doubt, you hesitate. If you choose fear, you shrink. But if you choose power, even a little bit, your mind follows that command. Your body follows that command. Your actions, your decisions, your conversations, they all rise to match the standard you set the moment you wake up. Think about it. You've had days where you woke up frustrated or drained, and everything that day felt like a battle. A small problem felt like a big one. A tiny delay felt like a disaster. That wasn't the day falling apart. That was your state collapsing before the day even began. And you've had mornings where you woke up energized, clear, ready. Guess what happened? The same challenges showed up, but you handled them differently. Your strength was higher. Your resilience was stronger. Your decisions were sharper. Nothing changed except you. That's the power of your morning. It's the moment you get to choose your story before the world writes it for you. It's the moment you get to prime your mind for possibility instead of pressure. If you wake up and start thinking about what's missing, what's wrong, what's stressful, your brain goes into survival mode. But if you wake up and shift your focus to what's possible, what's meaningful, what's within your control, your brain starts creating instead of reacting. You can't build a powerful life from a disempowered morning. You can't expect confidence to show up at noon if you didn't plant it at sunrise. And you can't live a life of purpose if the first thing you feed your mind is noise. Your morning is where you set the standard for the day. It's where you choose discipline over distraction, clarity over confusion, presence over pressure. This is where people misunderstand mornings. They think it's about waking up early or drinking lemon water or following some perfect routine. It's not. Those are tools. The real transformation comes from deciding how you're going to show up the moment your feet hit the ground. It's about shifting your state from automatic to intentional. It's about creating emotional momentum instead of waiting for it. It's about being proactive with your mind instead of being reactive to your environment. You have to treat your morning like the ignition of your life. If you turn the key slowly, uncertainly, the engine stutters. But when you turn it with force and certainty, everything fires up. Your morning sets the rhythm. It builds the emotional tone. It tells your mind, this is who I am today. This is how I lead. This is how I rise. And here's the truth most people avoid. Your life won't change until your mornings change, because the world doesn't respond to your goals. It responds to your state. When you control your morning, you control your state. When you control your state, you control your behavior. And when you control your behavior consistently, you transform your life. This is the moment where everything begins. This is where the day is won. Identity before anything else, before action, before strategy, before planning, before the world even knows you're awake. Identity is the place everything begins. Most people wake up and immediately think about what they have to do. the tasks, the obligations, the pressure. They start their day from a place of reaction, and then they wonder why they feel overwhelmed, why they feel behind, why they feel disconnected from their own goals. But the people who create extraordinary results understand something very different. Your life doesn't rise to the level of your plans. It rises to the level of your identity. You don't act according to what you want. You act according to who you believe you are. If you see yourself as someone who's overwhelmed, you'll behave overwhelmed. If you see yourself as someone who never finishes things, you'll start and stop endlessly. If you see yourself as someone who's stuck, your actions will mirror that. But the moment you shift the identity behind the actions, everything changes. Your decisions change, your habits change, your standards change, the quality of your life changes. Every morning you have a window, a powerful, vulnerable moment where your identity is malleable. It's open, it's impressionable. And if you don't claim it, the world will claim it for you. You'll wake up and become who you were yesterday, even if yesterday wasn't who you wanted to be. You'll carry old doubts, old fears, old stories into a brand new day. That's what most people do. They recycle old identities into new mornings and wonder why nothing feels different. What if instead you asked yourself a different question, not what do I need to do today, but who do I choose to be today? It sounds simple, but it is one of the most powerful shifts you can make because identity gives birth to behavior. Identity creates consistency. Identity gives your morning a direction, a tone, a command. The moment you decide who you are, your mind starts searching for ways to act in alignment with that choice. It looks for proof. It looks for patterns. It looks for opportunities to reinforce that identity. That's how change becomes real. Not by forcing yourself into new habits, but by becoming the person those habits naturally belong to. Every morning you can step into a stronger identity, a more disciplined one, a more focused one, a more courageous one, a more resilient one. But it requires a decision, not a soft decision, not a maybe, a stand, a declaration, a moment where you say to yourself, this is who I am now. And you back that identity with action. Think about the greatest breakthroughs in your life. They never came from a to-do list. They came from a shift in perspective, a shift in self-belief, a moment where you realized you were capable of more. That realization didn't just change your actions, it changed your identity. And from that identity, new momentum was born. Identity is powerful because it's emotional, not logical. You can tell yourself logically, I should wake up early, I should exercise, I should focus, and still not do any of it. But when you shift your identity to, I am someone who uses my mornings to win my day, everything inside you starts aligning with that belief. You no longer have to push yourself into discipline. Discipline becomes a natural expression of who you are. And this is why mornings matter so much. When you start the day anchored to your identity, you move differently, you think differently, you handle challenges differently, because you're not just reacting, you're acting from a place of certainty. When you forget who you are, the world will remind you of your limitations, but when you remember who you've chosen to become, the world starts responding to your strength. Some people wake up and look for reasons to doubt themselves. They focus on what's missing, what's wrong, what they haven't achieved yet, and that identity keeps them small. But you can wake up and fuel a different story. You can prime your brain with who you're becoming instead of who you used to be. You can speak life into your identity instead of feeding the voices that shrink you. Identity is a decision repeated until it becomes your truth. And every morning is a new chance to make that decision again. You're not locked into the identity of your past. You're not imprisoned by old patterns. You're not limited by who you used to be. The question is, are you willing to declare a new identity and then honor it through the smallest actions of your morning? Because the morning is where identity is tested. It's easy to say you're committed when you're motivated. It's easy to say you're strong when life is calm. But in the quiet of the morning, when no one's watching, when there's no applause, no pressure, no audience, that's where identity is chosen. That's where you meet the truth of who you are becoming. If you want a life of purpose, you need an identity of purpose. If you want a life of discipline, you need an identity of discipline. If you want a life of growth, you need an identity of growth. You can't hope your way into that. You choose your way into it, and you choose it every single morning. Identity shapes direction. Direction shape decisions. Decisions shape destiny. Your body is not just a vehicle you carry around. It is the command center for your mind, the ignition switch for your energy, and the secret weapon for your emotional state. Most people wake up and underestimate the incredible power that resides in the way they move, the way they breathe, the way they hold themselves. They think motivation comes first, that energy comes from inspiration, that focus comes from some external source. But the truth is, motion creates emotion. Your physiology is the lever that can catapult you into a day of extraordinary performance or keep you trapped in a day of mediocrity. When you wake up and remain sedentary, your body signals to your brain that it's safe to stay small, safe to stay passive, safe to stay in the same patterns. Your posture collapses, your energy drops, your mind searches for excuses before you even get out of bed. But the moment you move, stretch, jump, breathe deeply, get your heart pumping, something remarkable happens. Your nervous system shifts, your hormones realign. Your brain receives a signal that says, we are awake, we are alive, we are ready to conquer. That simple act, repeated consistently, rewires your state from automatic to unstoppable. Think about the mornings when you felt alive, unstoppable, and fully present. Chances are you didn't just wake up and wait for motivation to arrive. You moved your body. You activated your muscles. You breathed in deep, energizing air, and suddenly your mind wasn't foggy anymore. You weren't reacting to life. You were commanding it. This is not a small detail. This is a fundamental law of human performance. The state of your body determines the state of your mind. Your physiology communicates with your emotions constantly. Slumped shoulders, shallow breathing, a slow pace. These are not neutral signals. They are messages too. Your brain that say, I'm tired, I'm weak, I'm uncertain. Your brain listens and responds accordingly. But if you lift your chest, take a deep, intentional breath, expand your rib cage, move your limbs, and stand with authority, your brain reads that message too. I am powerful. I am capable. I am in control. It's almost magical. Movement alone, when applied intentionally, triggers confidence, courage, and clarity. Most people underestimate the compounding effect of small physical actions in the morning. They assume they need hours in the gym or a marathon to feel alive. That's not true. A few minutes of intentional movement, even a set of stretches, a short series of push-ups, a brisk walk, or a couple of jumping jacks can completely change the trajectory of your day. It primes your nervous system, floods your body with energy, and sets the stage for high performance. And the beauty of this is that your brain doesn't differentiate between small and large efforts in the morning. It only registers action. When you act, it responds. Breathing is another overlooked tool that most people never use intentionally. Deep, conscious breathing in the morning signals to your body that it's alive, that it's capable of focus, that it's ready to engage. Shallow, erratic breathing keeps you in a state of tension and stress, but a few deep, powerful breaths held and released with intention flood your system with oxygen, calm your mind, and sharpen your focus. You literally change your state with every breath you take. Think about champions, leaders, and high achievers you admire. One thing they all have in common is that they prime their physiology deliberately. They don't wait for their environment to create energy. They generate it from within. They understand that their body is the starting point for their mental clarity, their emotional resilience, and their ability to act decisively. Your body is not just a vessel. It is the engine that drives the quality of every single day. And this isn't just about physical performance. Your emotional state is inseparable from your physical state. Anger, frustration, sadness, fear, all of these emotions can be manipulated through your body. Stand tall, walk with purpose, move with intention, and suddenly fear diminishes, frustration transforms, and confidence rises. You cannot think your way into a new state without your body following. Trying to psych yourself up while remaining slouched, stagnant, and passive is like trying to start a car without turning the key. The energy has to come from motion first and thought second. Even small morning rituals that incorporate motion and physiology can be transformative. A simple morning routine of stretching, a few minutes of calisthenics, or even a brisk walk outside can ignite a chain reaction of positive momentum. Your energy levels spike, your mental clarity sharpens, and your emotional resilience strengthens. Suddenly, the challenges you face don't feel as overwhelming. The distractions that normally pull you off course don't hold the same power. You approach your day from a state of mastery instead of survival. Your physiology also influences your relationships and the way you communicate with the world. When you move with power and presence in the morning, it translates into how you carry yourself in conversations, in decisions, and in leadership. People respond to the energy you project, and energy is always physical before it is emotional or intellectual. You cannot fake presence. You can only generate it from the inside out. And that generation begins with motion, with the deliberate activation of your body. Many people waste their mornings waiting for inspiration to arrive, but inspiration is rarely a visitor. It is a consequence. It is the result of preparation, action, and deliberate physiological engagement. If you want to feel inspired, start by moving, breathing, and acting. The rest will follow naturally. The mind cannot separate itself from the body. When your body signals readiness, your mind aligns. When your body is passive, your mind falters. It's that simple. It's that powerful. The difference between an ordinary day and an extraordinary day often comes down to the very first moments after you wake up. If you choose stillness, hesitation, and inertia, you hand over your energy to the day's demands before you've even begun. But if you choose motion, intention, and presence, you set a powerful trajectory for every thought, every emotion, every decision that follows. The mornings are your laboratory, your training ground, your first victory before the world even wakes up. Every day you have a choice. You can wake up and wait for life to energize you, or you can prime yourself, activate your body, and take control of your state before the world dictates it. Small, consistent actions in the morning, stretches, breaths, movement, become the catalyst for unstoppable momentum. They are the first dominoes that trigger confidence, clarity, and courage. They set the tone for productivity, resilience, and excellence. If you want your life to rise, start with your body. If you want your mind to expand, start with your motion. If you want your day to be unstoppable, prime your physiology first. Focus. It sounds simple, but it is the most powerful, underutilized force in human achievement. And the morning is where focus is born. Most people wake up and immediately scatter themselves to the demands of the world, checking notifications, scrolling through social media, responding to emails, reacting to messages, before they've even decided who they are or what they want their day to become. And then they wonder why they feel exhausted, distracted, or powerless by noon. That is not a coincidence. Focus is the invisible architect of your life, and if you don't protect it in the morning, you lose control of your day before it even begins. Your focus is a finite resource. It's not unlimited. Every time you let your attention wander to someone else's priorities, to other people's fears, or to chaos that isn't yours, you spend a portion of your energy that cannot be replenished. By the time most people think they are getting started, they've already exhausted their focus on things that do not serve them. And then they wonder why their results don't match their potential. The truth is, your morning is the single most important moment to claim focus, to take it back, and to direct it toward what really matters. The key is not just to focus, it's to focus intentionally, deliberately, and without distraction. Imagine your morning as a blank canvas. If you started by giving attention to scattered, irrelevant, or negative stimuli, you are painting chaos into your day before you even step into it. But if you begin with clarity, with purpose, with a concentrated effort to direct your mind toward what matters most, you are painting the masterpiece of your life one morning at a time. This is not a suggestion. It is a law of human performance. The state of your focus determines the quality of your results. One of the most powerful ways to protect your focus in the morning is by eliminating distraction before it even appears. No phones, no emails, no news, no outside noise pulling at your mind. This is not being antisocial, it is being strategic. The world is designed to steal your focus because it benefits from you being reactive, busy, and scattered. But when you claim even 30 focused minutes in the morning, uninterrupted, you set the tone for the rest of you. Our day. Your brain learns that your attention is valuable, that it is protected, that it is not up for grabs. And once your focus is anchored, your energy, clarity, and productivity naturally expand. Focus also requires boundaries. And these boundaries start with your morning choices. You cannot serve everyone else first and expect to serve yourself best. You cannot give your energy to other people's drama, crises, or distractions before you have aligned yourself with your own purpose. By taking ownership of your focus early, you create a magnetic field around your energy that draws the right people, opportunities, and results towards you instead of scattering your potential across irrelevant directions. Clarity is the companion of focus. If you do not know what you want your day to accomplish, your focus will wander. That is why intentional mornings require a moment to clarify priorities. Ask yourself, what are the one or two things today that will move me closer to my goals? What is non-negotiable? What will I allow to distract me? And what will I protect fiercely? The act of answering these questions, even briefly, programs your mind. It gives your attention a target. It creates a lens through which every choice, every action, and every thought passes. Without clarity, focus cannot exist. Your morning focus also shapes your emotional trajectory. When your mind is scattered, your emotions follow. Anxiety, frustration, overwhelm, and impatience take root because your energy is dissipated. But when you begin with focus, your emotional state stabilizes. You move with confidence, make decisions with certainty, and handle challenges with calmness. Focus is not just a tool for productivity, it is the foundation of emotional mastery. It is not enough to plan to focus, you must act on it. Most people intellectually understand focus, but fail to execute because they underestimate the power of momentum. The moment you protect your focus and direct it toward your highest priorities, you create a ripple effect. Every decision becomes sharper, every interaction more effective, every challenge easier to navigate. Focus is the lever that multiplies your potential, and mornings are the fulcrum. Distractions are everywhere, but your morning can be your fortress. It is the time when the world is quietest, when your mind is clearest, and when your energy is freshest. Protect it, guard it, treat it as the most valuable asset you own. The small act of prioritizing your focus in the morning compounds into extraordinary results over time. Days become weeks, weeks become months, and months become a life lived with purpose rather than a life lost to reaction. Focus is also about alignment. Your attention must match your intentions. Many people spend their mornings in frantic activity thinking they are productive, but their actions are disconnected from their goals. True focus ensures that every movement, every thought, every choice serves the vision you have for yourself. It is the bridge between your identity and your results. Without focus, identity remains unexpressed. Without focus, potential remains untapped. Finally, protecting your focus is not a one-time effort. It is a practice. Every morning, every day, you get to choose whether your attention serves you or serves the chaos around you. The most successful people do not allow randomness to dictate their mornings. They do not let urgency replace importance. They do not react to the world. They act from a place of clarity and intention. Focus is a discipline, a muscle, and the single greatest determinant of whether you will live a day of greatness or mediocrity. Your morning is your sanctuary. Guard your focus, direct it with intention, align it with purpose, and you will find that nothing can shake the trajectory you set before the world even begins. Focus determines your day, and your day determines your life. Before the world wakes up, before the emails, the messages, the news, and the endless demands of other people's agendas, you have a sacred window of time to feed your mind. This is not just a nice idea. It is the foundation of every high-performing, extraordinary life. Most people wake up and immediately let the world dictate their state, but the truth is that the morning is your opportunity to program yourself before anyone else programs you. Your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions are all fertile soil in the morning, and whatever seeds you plant first will grow and shape your entire day. The world is relentless in feeding you distractions, fear, and doubt, but in those quiet first moments of the day, you have the chance to feed yourself with power, growth, and clarity. When you let negativity enter first, scrolling through social media, reading bad news, reacting to chaos, you give your energy away. Your mind becomes reactive, your emotions unstable, and your potential diminished. You are no longer the creator of your day. You are the reactor. But when you take control of what you feed your mind, when you choose to nourish it with purpose, gratitude, and vision, you step into your power before the world even has a chance to influence you. Feeding your mind is not about filling it with random information. It's about deliberate input that elevates your state. It could be reading a book that expands your understanding, listening to a podcast that inspires you, journaling thoughts that clarify your priorities, or visualizing the day ahead with intention. It is about taking those first moments to cultivate a mental environment that aligns with the identity you have chosen and the results you desire. When you do this consistently, your mind becomes fertile ground for creativity, resilience, and courage. Consider the contrast, a morning spent reacting to external stimuli versus a morning spent feeding your mind intentionally. In the first scenario, you are tossed around by circumstance, responding to other people's urgencies and letting your emotions be dictated by what you cannot control. In the second, you step into a state of mastery. You prime your mind to see opportunity, to handle challenges, and to remain calm in chaos. You establish a mental rhythm that carries you through obstacles with strength and clarity. The difference is monumental, and it all begins with what you choose to feed your mind first. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forms of mental nutrition you can provide in the morning. By focusing on what is working, what is already abundant, and what you are thankful for, you create a chemical shift in your brain. You move from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of possibility. You engage the part of your mind that sees solutions instead of problems, that notices opportunity instead of limitation. Gratitude in the morning is not a passive exercise. It is an active declaration that today is going to be better because you have already chosen to. See what is strong, what is good, and what matters. Visualization is another key element. When you see the life you want, when you imagine yourself handling the challenges of the day with confidence, when you feel the emotions of achievement before it has happened, your mind and body begin to align with that reality. Your brain does not know the difference between vividly imagined action and real action. By feeding your mind powerful images and emotions in the morning, you create a roadmap for your day that your subconscious can follow automatically. You plant the seeds of performance, and your body begins to move in alignment with teach. OS seeds before you even step into the external world. Affirmations and intentional speech are equally important. The words you speak in the morning shape your self-belief. If you begin your day with self-doubt, criticism, or worry, those words echo through your day, guiding your decisions and actions unconsciously. But if you speak with certainty, power, and purpose, even if it feels uncomfortable at first, your mind listens. You remind yourself of your strength, your potential, and your ability to create results. This is not fluff. It is the architecture of self-mastery. The first words you feed your mind each morning determine how your mind will direct your body, your emotions, and your actions for the rest of the day. The morning is also a time to feed your mind with learning and growth. Even 10 minutes of reading something that stretches your thinking, listening to a powerful lecture, or reflecting on a lesson you've learned can compound into massive advantage over time. This is how champions get ahead. They consistently choose input that elevates their capacity. Small, intentional acts in the morning accumulate into clarity, competence, and unstoppable momentum. Feeding your mind is not a one-time event. It is a daily discipline that compounds like interest, creating exponential growth in your results and your confidence. It is critical to recognize that what you feed your mind in the morning sets the tone for your emotions and your decisions. If you start the day consumed by fear, worry, or negativity, your emotions will dictate your actions and your focus will fragment. But if you start with positive, empowering, and growth-oriented input, your emotions stabilize, your decisions sharpen, and your day becomes an extension of your higher self rather than a reaction to circumstance. Feeding your mind intentionally is the ultimate form of self-leadership. It is taking control of your state before the world attempts to take it from you. Many people underestimate the power of a disciplined morning because they focus only on action, checking off tasks, moving through routines, solving problems. But action without the right mental state is inefficient, unfocused, and exhausting. Feeding your mind first creates a foundation on which all action becomes more potent, more aligned, and more impactful. Your productivity is not just a factor of what you do, it is a factor of what you allow into your mind first. This is why mornings are sacred, why they demand attention, and why feeding your mind must be a non-negotiable part of your life. The world will always try to steal your mental energy, to distract you, to pull you into reaction, fear, or chaos. But if you commit to feeding your mind first, you establish a field of power that the world cannot penetrate. You begin the day aligned with your purpose, your goals, and your potential. You step into life as the creator of your experience, not the victim. Every thought, every emotion, every decision that follows flows from the nutrition you gave your mind in those first moments. This is how extraordinary people live day after day, by being intentional with the most powerful tool they have, their own mind. Your morning is the gateway to your potential. Feed your mind before the world feeds you, and you will rise above distraction, chaos, and fear. What you feed your mind first shapes everything else. Every great life is built on momentum, and momentum doesn't appear magically. It is created through small, consistent victories. The truth is, most people underestimate the power of micro wins. They look for transformation in big leaps, massive breakthroughs, or overnight success. And when it doesn't happen, they feel discouraged, frustrated, or stuck. But success doesn't start with giant actions. It starts with the smallest choices you make consistently every single morning. That is why the morning is the perfect time to create these micro wins, because they set the tone for the entire day, and over time, they compound into unstoppable momentum. The moment you wake up, you have a choice. You can roll over and let the world dictate your mood, your energy, and your actions, or you can take a deliberate step to win your first battle of the day. Making your bed, drinking a glass of water, taking a few deep breaths, moving your body, or writing down your goals. These are not trivial acts. They are declarations to yourself. I am in control. I am capable. I will not wait for motivation. I will create it. Each micro win activates a powerful psychological response inside your mind. It sends a signal that says, I am disciplined. I am proactive. I am building momentum. And momentum, once created, feeds itself. Micro wins are powerful because they are achievable. You don't have to wait until everything is perfect, until you have hours of free time, or until motivation strikes. You can start right now in the smallest way, and the effect compounds. When you achieve a small win in the morning, your confidence rises. your focus sharpens, your energy increases. Suddenly, the next action feels easier. The next challenge becomes less intimidating. The momentum created by one micro win carries you into the next, and the day begins to unfold in alignment with your highest potential. Many people overlook the importance of these small victories because they are focused only on outcomes. They believe that success is defined by the completion of large goals, but in reality, success is a series of consistent actions. A single step taken with purpose, executed consistently, creates a chain reaction. Each micro win is like a domino, and as one domino falls, it triggers another and another until an entire day, week, or life begins to shift in a positive direction. The key is consistency. The key is doing it every morning without waiting for the perfect circumstances or the perfect state of mind. The psychological effect of micro wins is profound. When you start the day by accomplishing something, no matter how small, you program your brain for success. You tell yourself that you are capable, that you can follow through, that you are a person who acts with intention and discipline. This builds a sense of identity that reinforces future action. The small victories are not just habits, they are the foundation of the person you are becoming. And when you repeat this pattern day after day, your identity aligns with your actions, creating unstoppable consistency. Micro wins also combat procrastination. Most people delay action because the task feels too large, too overwhelming, or too difficult. But a micro win is small enough to overcome resistance. Making your bed, taking a 5-minute walk, writing down 3 priorities. These are achievable and immediate. And the beauty of this is that one small action often leads to another. Once you start, momentum grows, resistance diminishes, and before you know it, you've accomplished more than you thought possible. This is the secret of high achievers. They don't wait for motivation. They start with micro wins and let the energy of action carry them forward. Micro wins are also a way to create emotional momentum. When you begin the day with success, your emotions shift. You feel pride, confidence, and control. You start the day with a sense of mastery instead of chaos. Your mindset becomes proactive instead of reactive. And that emotional state colors every decision, every interaction, and every challenge you face throughout the day. It is not just about what you do. It is about how you feel about what you do. Micro wins create a positive emotional loop that fuels performance and resilience. Another critical element is the habit of reflection. After achieving a micro win, take a moment to acknowledge it, celebrate it, even silently. Give yourself credit. This reinforces the behavior in your mind and strengthens the identity you are building. Most people rush from task to task without pausing to recognize achievement, and as a result, they never feel the psychological lift that fuels momentum. Recognition of small wins is the fuel that sustains consistent action over time. Micro wins also create a sense of control in a world that constantly pulls us in multiple directions. Life throws challenges, unexpected problems, and distractions, but when you anchor your morning in intentional action, you create stability. You begin the day as the commander of your own experience, not a victim of circumstance, and this sense of control is contagious. It affects your decisions, your interactions, and your ability to handle stress. Momentum is not just about productivity. It is about creating the emotional and psychological conditions for success. The compound effect of micro wins is staggering. One small action today seems insignificant in isolation, but when repeated over weeks and months, it produces massive results. A morning routine built on small, intentional victories creates discipline, clarity, energy, and confidence. It transforms your day from a series of reactions into a series of purposeful steps. It is the accumulation of these micro wins that separates ordinary people from extraordinary achievers. Ordinary people wait for luck, motivation, or opportunity. Extraordinary people create their luck, ignite their motivation, and seize every opportunity by stacking small wins consistently. The morning is the perfect laboratory for micro wins because it sets the trajectory of your entire day. It is where habits are formed, momentum is created, and energy is directed. Every small victory primes your mind, fuels your body, and strengthens your emotions. It creates a sense of inevitability, the feeling that you will achieve what you set out to do because you have already begun winning before anyone else is awake. This is the secret. Success is not a single event. It is the accumulation of deliberate, consistent, and intentional actions, starting with the smallest victories. If you want a life of extraordinary results, you must honor the power of micro wins. Do not wait for perfect circumstances. Do not wait for massive inspiration. Start with what you can control every morning consistently. Stack these victories like bricks, and your life will rise on a foundation that cannot be shaken. Momentum is created one small win at a time.